The Egyptian sun sets over the Nile, casting the pyramids of Giza in shadow. These ancient monuments are more than tombs. They are the silent keepers of Egypt's greatest stories. Among them is a love story that shaped a civilization, the tale of Isis and Osiris. Their bond was more than affection, it was the foundation of order, fertility, and justice. This myth explained the changing seasons and the cycle of life, death, and rebirth. As night falls, the stars above recall the drama of devotion and betrayal that defined Egypt's soul. The ancient Egyptians saw in these stars the journeys of their gods and the eternal promise of return. The story of Isis and Osiris offered hope. Even in loss, there is restoration. It is a narrative of power, unlocking the ancient Egyptian worldview. At its heart, it is a struggle between order and chaos, creation and destruction. Isis, goddess of magic and motherhood, and Osiris, the benevolent king, embodied perfect harmony. Yet their story warns how easily balance can be shattered by jealousy and ambition. Let us journey back to the dawn of civilization, to witness the golden age they created and the tragedy that would tear it apart. Their legend is more than myth. It is the key to understanding Egypt's deepest beliefs. Through their love and loss, the Egyptians found meaning in the cycles of nature and the hope of eternal life. This is the story that echoes through the ages. From the banks of the Nile to the stars above, the tale begins with a golden rain destined for darkness. In Egypt's golden age, Osiris ruled as a wise and just king. He taught people to farm, gave them laws, and brought peace and prosperity. His queen, Isis, his sister and wife, was a master of magic and wisdom, teaching women the arts of daily life. Together they were adored, their love nurturing the land itself. Osiris's green skin symbolized life and renewal, the very spirit of the Nile's fertility. Under their rule, Egypt flourished, the people thrived, and the desert bloomed, but harmony invites its opposite. In the shadows, their brother Set watched with envy, his heart twisted by jealousy. Set coveted the throne and despised the love Osiris inspired. His resentment grew, poisoning his soul and sowing the seeds of betrayal. The golden age was fragile, threatened from within. Set's ambition would soon shatter the peace Osiris and Isis had built. The stage was set for a terrible act that would plunge Egypt into sorrow. The people's adoration could not protect their king from the darkness rising in his own family. As the land prospered, a storm gathered on the horizon. The fate of Egypt and the gods themselves would soon change forever. The story of love and abundance was about to become one of loss and vengeance. Set's jealousy would ignite a conflict that echoed through eternity. The golden reign was ending. Set, god of chaos and the desert, could not bear Osiris's success. His jealousy became obsession, driving him to plot his brother's downfall. Set commissioned a beautiful chest, crafted to Osiris's exact size, and invited the gods to a grand feast. At the banquet, Set announced a contest. Whoever fit the chest perfectly would win it. One by one, the gods tried and failed, until Osiris lay inside, fitting perfectly. In an instant, Set and his followers slammed the lid shut, sealing Osiris inside. They poured molten lead over the seams, turning the chest into a coffin. Set cast it into the Nile, letting the current carry Osiris away. The joyous celebration turned to horror. Order had fallen to chaos. Osiris, the beloved king, was gone, and darkness fell over Egypt. Set seized the throne, his ambition finally realized. The golden age ended in betrayal, and sorrow gripped the land. The gods and mortals alike mourned the loss of their benevolent ruler. Isis's world was shattered, but her resolve would not break. The story of love and harmony had become one of loss and vengeance. Set's treachery set in motion a quest that would test the limits of devotion. The fate of Egypt now hung in the balance. Isis's grief was boundless, but her love for Osiris gave her strength. She disguised herself as a mourner and began a relentless search for her husband. Her journey led her across Egypt and beyond, following whispers and omens. In Byblos, she discovered the chest encased within a tamarisk tree, now a palace pillar. Disguised as a nursemaid, Isis entered the royal court, caring for the queen's child. Her nightly rituals revealed her divine power, and the astonished king granted her the sacred pillar. Isis freed the chest, finally reuniting with Osiris's body. Overcome with sorrow, she embraced him, her tears falling on his lifeless form. Using her magic, she protected his body and began the journey home. She hid the coffin in the Nile Delta's marshes, away from Set's gaze. Isis's quest was not just for love, but for the restoration of order. Her determination inspired gods and mortals alike. The world waited as she prepared to defy death itself. The next chapter would test her magic and resolve as never before. The hope of Egypt rested on her shoulders. Hidden in the Nile Delta, Isis began her most powerful magic. But Set discovered the coffin and in a final act of cruelty tore Osiris's body into 14 pieces, scattering them across Egypt. Isis's grief deepened, but her resolve only grew. With her sister Nephthys, she searched the land, transforming into a kite to find each piece. Patiently, they reassembled Osiris, inventing the ritual of mummification. Only one piece was lost, but Isis fashioned a replacement from gold and magic. With Osiris whole, she performed a ritual to restore his life. Their reunion was brief, but in that moment, Isis conceived their son Horus. Osiris could not remain among the living. His purpose was fulfilled. He became ruler of the underworld, leaving behind a legacy and an heir. Isis's love had conquered death, if only for a moment. The cycle of life, death, and rebirth was set in motion. Horus would grow to challenge Set and restore balance. The story of Isis and Osiris became the foundation of Egyptian belief. Their love changed the fate of gods and mortals alike. Isis hid in the marshes to protect her unborn son Horus from Set's wrath. Horus was born in secrecy, a symbol of hope and justice. Isis raised him with care, teaching him magic and the legacy of his father. As Horus grew, he became strong and wise, destined to confront Set. Their conflict raged for years, a cosmic battle between order and chaos. In epic contests, Horus lost and regained his eye, which became a symbol of protection and healing. The gods judged their dispute, ultimately declaring Horus the rightful king. Set was banished to the desert and order was restored to Egypt. Horus united the land, ruling with justice and balance. The triumph of Horus ensured that Ma'at, truth and order, prevailed. The myth became a model for kingship and the eternal struggle against chaos. Through Horus, the legacy of Isis and Osiris endured. Their stories shaped the destiny of Egypt for millennia. The myth of Osiris's resurrection transformed Egyptian beliefs about death. Egyptians saw Osiris's journey as a promise of eternal life. To achieve this, they developed the sacred art of mummification, mirroring Isis's magic. The body was preserved so the soul could return in the afterlife. Organs were removed, the body dried with natron and wrapped in linen. Amulets and funerary masks protected the dead on their journey. The process was a ritual reenactment of Isis's devotion. Osiris became ruler of the underworld, judging souls in the weighing of the heart. If the heart was pure, the soul entered eternal bliss. This belief system, born from the myth, offered hope of immortality to all Egyptians. The story of Osiris gave meaning to life, death, and what lay beyond. Even today, Egypt's sands reveal new secrets. In 2025, archaeologists at Abydos uncovered a sealed ritual chamber near Osiris's temple. Inside, they found detailed reliefs of the myth and a life-size statue of Isis in her winged form. The statue's papyrus wings recall the marshes where she resurrected Osiris. Isis is shown in mourning and protection, embodying her magical vigil. This discovery highlights her central role in the myth. The chamber is a monument to her power and devotion. It shows that Isis's love was as vital as Osiris's resurrection. The find deepens our understanding of Egypt's spiritual world. The sands of Egypt still have stories to tell. Each discovery brings us closer to the ancient heart of this civilization. The story of Isis and Osiris is more than myth. It is Egypt's soul. It explains the Nile's cycles, the pharaoh's power, and the hope of an afterlife. Osiris's death and rebirth mirrored the land's renewal. The myth shaped rituals, kingship, and daily life. Even today, its themes of love, loss, and hope resonate. Isis's devotion, Osiris's peace, Set's jealousy, and Horus's justice are timeless. The struggle between creation and destruction lives on in us all. Egypt's gods and their stories remain a well of wonder. The myth of Isis and Osiris is just one chapter in a vast tapestry. Which Egyptian god's story speaks to you? The journey through Egypt's myths is never-ending. Perhaps next we'll follow a soul into the Hall of Two Truths. The stories of Egypt are waiting, etched in stone and alive in our imagination.